Weatherman, we can't allow any further delay. So stop your waiting.
Well, hello and welcome to the First Alert Weather Podcast, folks. It is, I am Mark Nelson, not it. I am Mark Nelson, Chief Meteorologist here at Fox 12. Katie Zuniga, our meteorologist, with me in the evenings here. How are you?
Good.
So we are between shows right now, and, that's why we're a little more dressed up maybe than normal. It's always more comfortable to do it at home, but we are between shows. So we had a fun day today. Katie, wait, tell our viewers what we did.
We got to go see PG&E's IOC. IOC.
PG, yep. Mm-hmm.
Integrated Operations Center?
Control Center.
Integrated. I got the whole...
IOCC. Is that what it was?
I got it right here. I get their little acronym mixed up, so I want to make sure I get it right. It is the... where did that go? Here it is.
Our podcast just stopped, Katie.
What
was that? I was kidding.
Oh,
the
IOC, which is the Integrated Operations Center. There we go.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. That was so fun.
Yeah, it was fun. PG, it's amazing. They bring in power from, all these different sources. It's a pretty new building, too. They wanted us to see like what the forecasters do down there. And we'll have to have one of them on this podcast because, they talked about what they do there. They showed us the two massive control rooms. All this power comes in from all these different places. All has to be balanced. If they have extra, they sell it to other places. We saw the energy traders in action.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on. And then it's like, then the power gets to my house. You just assume when you flip the switch, it's all going to work, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing it does after looking at that. So after getting the tour, the folks there were great. So
and understanding a little more like when there's a power outage, when it's 10 people versus thousands of people versus hundreds of thousands of people, and how they work that all out and how it all communicates and what their meteorologists do. And it was awesome.
That was fun. And then I was arguing with some people on Twitter later this evening. Actually, my first ever conspiracy theorist that was friendly and nice said thank you when I told them that chemtrails don't exist. And they said, well, what about this and this and this? And they said, well, thanks anyway. I never have people that nice. Yeah. So I was very nice back. And I'm like, I'll write back. Usually I don't engage because
people just get more aggressive.
Yeah, people get really aggressive and mean on Twitter. So
yeah.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. This is episode 121. There's a good chance this is our only November episode because we did one in the day or two before the end of Halloween. We'll probably do one right after the Thanksgiving holiday, which will be like December 2nd or 3rd. So I guess we can call this our Thanksgiving episode, kind of.
Oh, except for we're not technically forecasting all the way to Thanksgiving yet.
Or are we?
Oh.
Yeah, you're going to see. All right, tornadoes. Let's talk about tornadoes first.
Yes.
We're going to cover that. We're going to cover, notice I didn't say one tornado.
Multiple.
Two. A lot of us didn't know there was a second one. Oops. Rain and wind numbers from this week, which included that tornado. We had a tornado in Rockaway, of course. I think we all know about it. We've seen the video. We'll show it to you just in case you didn't see it. We'll talk about the Friday the 13th storm. Yesterday was the anniversary. I get all excited about these things. Sometimes other meteorologists will say, not Katie, but others will say, nobody remembers that because, that was so far back in time. But I got great engagement on that Facebook post.
Yep.
We'll talk about the big lows, how we get our big storms. What we see ahead towards Thanksgiving. There was an upgrade to the Euro model this week. Discuss that. And viewer photos. We got to get all that done in about a half hour because Katie has a show
at 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. Luckily, she's all ready, and I'm going to be hungry and cranky by then, too. So, okay, so this happened Monday evening. This was Monday the 11th. I was just on some social media, as I do for my job, and somebody said, I think something just happened in Rockaway, and so I immediately pulled up the radar velocity. Wow, you could clearly see something had happened there. Do I have that here? No, I don't. I thought I had the radar velocity. But the point is, so a tornado, very weak tornado, EF0 started as a water spout, came on shore at Rockaway Beach, which is in Tillamook County there. And it did damage right there. This is from the storm survey from the National Weather Service folks in Portland. They always, it's tough for them. They just have to suddenly run out there and check things out. They figure it was about 150 yards wide. There was one injury, and I don't want to make light of this, but I'll probably get a smile. Katie, were you here? Did you hear about what the injury was?
No, actually, I didn't.
Somebody ran out like, what the heck is going on? And they ran back in the house and hit their head as I guess they went back into the house.
It wasn't because.
I said I wouldn't smile. But that was the injury, I guess. And so hopefully that person's recovering now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exciting. You look out the
Yeah.
window and
Well,
yeah.
if
Mhm.
speaking of not nice people on social, there have been tons of people who experience, stronger, more deadly tornadoes that were just making so much fun of
Of our
Oregon
little
for
tornado.
that, saying that's not a tornado, that's just a windstorm. But it was a
Yeah,
tornado.
you know
Just because
what?
it wasn't an EF4 5 doesn't mean it's not a tornado.
They can keep their EF4s and 5s. So here's the video. Hopefully it plays correctly. So this is great because there's so many cameras now. I have like 4 or 5 cameras around my house. Keep note of that if you think you're going to come and steal something. There's cameras everywhere. But Neoconi School District, my mother went to high school there. Neoconi School District, this is, I think, the elementary school there in town in Rockaway. And this is one of their cameras.
The dumpster
Okay, it's going to come from the right side, the dumpster cam. It's going to come from the right. See how the wind is coming that direction? Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, look at that. There goes the dumpster. That takes a lot of wind to do that. And then
Yep.
you can see clearly it kind of
Right
switches and then it
there.
comes in there. Look at those look at those garage doors or the shop doors blowing. And then this is the boardroom. This wasn't a really rough school board meeting. This was just nobody was there, of course, because it was about 10 p.m. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 9:26 p.m.
This is one of the videos that was getting the most flack because they said if that had been a real tornado, the chairs would have blown across the room.
Well, okay. Yeah,
I
I
know.
guess if it would have been 150 mile per hour wind, let's do it one more time, just, because this is probably one of the best videos we've ever had of a tornado here. Because
Yeah.
earlier tornadoes, we didn't have as many video cams around.
Yeah.
I think we'll see more and more of this in the future with so many
And then
cameras.
the wind
One
switch-
direction, and then watch the doors. See, suddenly it comes in the other way.
Oof.
I think that was the big key for the Weather Service, along with the rotation you could see on the radar. That was
Yeah.
the key that, okay, there was a sudden change in wind direction. It wasn't a microburst.
Mhm.
Nobody saw it move onshore, but it probably was a water spout that moved onshore. So
Mhm.
there we go. That's enough of that. Then, so this is a funny story. So I posted that, and then Trina, the warning coordination officer at the
Mhm.
Portland Weather Service said, oh, when I said it was the first tornado in 13 months, she said, actually, there was one in South Beach, Newport,
Mhm.
back on Halloween morning. And I'm like, what? And it's funny because the first I heard of this, well, was that day, but a week after the event on November 7th, they put out at 8 a.m. a tornado report on a sunny day. So, of course, I wasn't looking at reports or storm reports. I wouldn't have even bothered to look. There it is. This went through the Oregon State University ship operations facility. Look how small it was. What does it say? Width is estimated at 10 yards, expanding up to 20 yards as it passed over the water. And apparently they have video. That's how we know. Does it say that? Does it say the video?
20 square feet of concrete shingles are torn off one building.
Yeah, it says video evidence. Actually, maybe the video is. Well, no, they probably have video there. Anyway, they didn't share that with the media. So
Yeah.
So there we go.
That's 2.
Yeah, we add up to the pile of EF0s. I don't know when the last EF1 was. It was before the pandemic, before 2020, because this list just keeps going down. So we got 2 EF0s there. We've never had, as you mentioned, Katie, EF4 or 5. We've never had one of those in the Pacific Northwest. The deadly one, the Vancouver tornado in 1972 in April, that was an EF3. Almost all of these are EF0s or EF1s. So believe it or not. Oh, wait.
There it is.
There we go. And I added the numbers here. So it's still, that sticks right with our fall and spring tornado seasons, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. One in October and one in November.
Yeah. And if you wonder, it's like, where does all this come from? You got to have a spreadsheet for everything, folks. That's a big message. Except it looks like, look what I didn't update in yellow. I even highlighted what I didn't update. Oh, wait a minute. No, you know what? I think I mean on the up on the top, I should update that every time. So I know last time it was updated. So remind me when I get back in the Weather Center when you're in the 8 o'clock show. And after I've eaten, not before I eat, because I'll be cranky.
Update it, yep.
So there you go. We've had a whole bunch of those EF0s. When was the last EF1? I think we can find it there. It would be, well, it was before 2020. Yeah, because we don't have it by year before that time. I have another file. There you go. Well, that was your big tornado talk, folks. I wondered if in the spring and the fall, it's like we should get at least one tornado, one of those 2 seasons in 2024, and finally we did. So,
and then we had a funnel cloud today.
Yeah, funnel cloud down at Monroe. I saw the video. We could not show that on air. We cannot, because of the lawyers. We're not allowed to just show video or stills either on air or on the podcast unless we have permission. We've talked about that before. Even with AI now, there are AI bots, or I don't know how it works. But they actually go out searching for people that don't have permission to use a photo, and they will try to sue you, or at least get a few $100 from you.
And I've seen it happen. Not to me, but
Yeah.
to people I know.
So here's some other numbers. We had a minor wind event. I wouldn't even call it, well, not really a windstorm. There was a high wind warning on the coast on Monday night too. And gust to 62 at the bridge, 54 at Astoria, 62 at Tillamook Jetty. Weak sauce. November, a little warmer than normal. What do you know? Another month warmer than normal.
And today came in at 54, right on average.
The high, yeah. And the low, when we have this cloud cover and a southerly breeze, we tend to have pretty mild lows too. So
the low, I had that.
If you have it, shout it out.
Yeah, it was. That's wrong. I opened the wrong thing. I did have it. It was.
Better close that window.
It was definitely on the warmer side for a low.
Well, you're looking. Look at the rainfall totals. This is since Sunday afternoon. So a good soaking again. I mean, it's November, folks. We've had just about 2 inches here in Portland since Sunday. We're recording this, by the way, on Thursday evening. You'll probably hear or see this. We recommend watching the video version on our KPTV.com weather page. But when you're watching on Friday, so this will be since Sunday afternoon. Very little should be added to this evening. But you can see, look at the mountains around us, 4 or 5 inches, 6 inches. And the old Wet Sheep Creek, and no, is it Sheep Canyon and I forget.
Up there 10, almost 11, 12 inches.
Those two around mountains. June Lake and Sheep Canyon, as I recall. It's not a creek, it's not Sheep Creek.
Yeah. So my answer to that question is since the 12th, we've been in the upper 40s to low 50s. So our low was 49 and our high was 54. Yeah. So only 5 degrees.
Numbers get pretty boring. The highs and the lows get pretty boring when we're in a progressive pattern where the weather systems are moving through.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to have one satellite loop. You see lots of speckly clouds, cool, unstable air masses over us. We didn't have as many showers as expected today, but then they really blossomed this evening. Some of you really got soaked here on this Thursday evening. That upper level low is going to move east of the Cascades. Oh, we got to cover current. You know, I kind of had this stuff out of order. I'm going to change. Watch this. I'm going to change the order coming up.
Okay.
So upper level low. We'll get back to that in a second. Look at Timberline Lodge. Looks snowy, doesn't it? I mean, that's a decent amount of snow starting to pile up where they've plowed it. They didn't get much today, an inch or two. But Katie, did I tell you? I don't know if you heard me say this on air. I looked. Mount Hood test site, the snow test site. It's been there since the early 80s. Since the early 80s, this is the snow water equivalent. If you melted the snow that's on the ground, melted down, how many inches of water do you get out of it? Right now, at the bottom of the Poochie Lip, there's 9 inches, which is amazing.
So in the top 5.
That's in the top. Yeah, that's number 4, folks, for snowpack as of mid-November. That's really impressive. I didn't really think it was that impressive until I actually looked at the numbers like, oh, wow, this is somewhat unusual. So this is the best snowpack on November 14th at that spot in 28 years. Let that sink in.
I'm looking at 84. They had 23.5 inches. That's a lot of snow.
And 90, I remember 94. That was that started out big, and I don't know if it petered out, but it just wasn't as big later in the year. But yeah, that was a nice start. You know, ski areas love this because the anticipation always at the beginning, like Christmas, before Christmas versus after Christmas. People want to hear their Christmas music a month and a half. Some do want to hear it a month and a half ahead of time. But 2 days after Christmas, they're like, I've had enough of that. So it's kind of like with the ski season where people get really excited in that first part of the ski season. Ski areas would much rather open up now. And, you know, people are really excited because it's harder to make up that money in April when people are moving on to spring things, even though there's 120 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And here's another way to look at it. You can see my cursor, right?
Yep.
So this dark line, I don't know what color that is.
It looks black to me.
Okay, black. There we go. Snow water equivalent, 20 through 100 inches. You know, I think Timberline this location typically peaks out like probably right up in here, 60 something. So here we are on November 14th. This is last year. How long did it take to get up to there?
Whoa.
It was when we had that snowy pattern just before the big freeze in early January. That's how bad December was last year.
So 9 inches we made I'm repeating this for people that might not be watching. So 9 inches is what we have now on November 14th. And we didn't get to 9 inches till
first week of January last year.
First week of January last year.
Maybe the second week. We had a big snow event starting about the 5th or so. So that's pretty impressive. That is a big start, folks. So that's
and I've had people asking me, does that mean it's going to be a good ski season? Does that mean it's going to be a good ski season?
My gut feeling is yes. We're in a neutral or weak La Nina setup for this winter, which is typically pretty good. The
last report was neutral still.
Yeah, we're still neutral. They just did the monthly outlook today.
Yep.
The big grand poobahs of ENSO, and they're still thinking we'll probably go weak La Nina, but it's very marginal.
Yep.
So if we have that much snow already, it'd take a huge pattern change to get rid of that snow. We'd have to have numerous atmospheric rivers to get rid of that much snow.
Interesting that you said that.
Yeah. So this is our 7-day forecast for Mount Hood. Just looking at the top part, a lot of info here. 2 to 4 inches as the next system arrives Saturday afternoon. Skiing looks very good tomorrow and Saturday. Low snow levels, cool temperatures at government camp. While we sleep Saturday night and the first part of Sunday, we're in the warm sector of that approaching system. So it will be snowy. I have a 4,000. I can only put one number here, folks. 4,000. Are you eating dinner?
No, I just hit the plate that has my dinner on it.
Okay.
Sorry about
that. Is the dinner now on the ground?
No, it's not.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I've got 4,000. That's the average. Sunday morning, the snow is only going to be above timberline and above meadows. It will rain early Sunday morning at the ski resorts. So I know this isn't what you want to hear, but Saturday is a much better day than Sunday. The deal is about the time they close Sunday afternoon at 4, that's when it changes to heavy snow, and we get heavy snow through Monday morning at least. So best days to ski, Saturday and Monday. Quite a bit of snow. That's 1 to 2 feet in the next 7 days. Probably 1 foot down at Ski Bowl. Ski Bowl should finally get good snow down at government camp in here.
It'd be good to see them open up around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that would be great. We need more snow, though, to get Ski Bowl open. It's always tougher at 3,000 feet. And notice the low snow level. Those should be the lowest of the season, 2,000 feet on Monday morning. Maybe a little lower. I have friends that live at about 1,800 feet up on Larch Mountain east of Corbett. I bet they could get a skiff of snow Monday morning.
A little spit.
Chilly. So driving over the Cascades, best would be Sunday morning. Should just be wet. If you're going over during the weekend, Sunday morning looks good. Okay, we're going to probably end up changing this Wednesday and Thursday. More on that in a minute. Okay, this is what I'm going to switch out.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the Friday 13th storm and big lows after we get through the weather. So ignore all this.
Okay.
There we go. First, okay, what's ahead? What do we see? First, the Euro had an upgrade this week. Cycle 49R1. Got that? Excuse me. Supposedly the 2-meter temperature observation should be better in the winter. We'll see. They look the same to me. The biggie is that 2 biggies. One is the off-hour Euro, the 6Z and the 18Z run is now going out to 6 days. Previously, it was only the was it the control? I'm really messing this up now. Either way, the Euro is now going out to 15 days. That what was the control run for the ensembles was running to 15 days over the last year and a half. But now it's now being called the high res. High res and control run are now the same thing. When you go to we go to Weatherbell to look at most of our Euro maps, and now it's just the same thing. The Euro just goes out to 15 days. It has for the last year and a half, but now it's labeled that way. And so we have that through 15 days at 0 and 12Z, and at 6Z we now have, and 18Z we now have the Euro out to 6 days. I think I said that right. Also, this still doesn't affect us too much, but the wave model for waves on the ocean is up to 9 kilometers, so resolution is better for the waves, so that's good. And the Euro ensembles did not change. They go out to 6 days on the 6 and 18Z run, and they go out to 15 days on the other. All right, so here's the upper level pattern. We got a big trough. This is actually, you're probably downloading this or listening to this on Friday, so I just went to midday Friday. Big trough over, kind of moving into the Intermountain region. We're in the cool northerly flow right behind it, so Friday looks pretty good. If you're listening to this, it's probably a partly cloudy day with a shower or two around. Snow in eastern Oregon this morning. For those of you listening Friday, I mean Friday morning. Okay, so that's the pattern. One trough is going through. Then this shows you the upper level pattern from the Euro. GFS looks about the same. Friday midday through Monday night. So the one trough is going by here, going way south. Here comes another one on Sunday. And then by the time we get to Monday night, that second trough is leaving. So one trough moving through now, another one on Sunday. Each one has brought a burst of rain and some wind. That'll be on Sunday. Sunday morning, it'll be especially rainy. We think that's when the cold front passes, like 10 a.m. or noon on Sunday. Could be some briefly heavy rain.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
So that should be fun. Pretty wet weekend. The model's been speeding up the arrival of the rain too. I mean, by noon Saturday at the latest. I'm just assuming Saturday afternoon is wet, and I'm hoping to take a run quickly Saturday morning before the rain hits. All right, so beyond that, so this takes us to Monday night. Looks like another trough at the end. Oh, can I stop it? Remember I had trouble stopping it last time.
I don't think you could.
I can't when it's within this. Wait. Oh, no, it just went to the next one.
Yeah, it went to the next
Okay,
line.
so at the very end there, it looks like a trough is going to dig much farther offshore. Now, this is last night's Euro run for next Wednesday, the 20th. Nice ridge over the west coast into Western Canada.
Mm-hmm.
This is last night's run. Just the operational, not the ensemble average. See, we've got what, 580, 583, 584 heights. That's east wind, sunshine. Looks great. This is the 12Z run today. Uh-oh, ridge looks a little weaker. The trough is a little closer.
Mm-hmm.
Old, new,
And
newest.
it's shifted.
That's the newest. That's the 18Z, Katie.
That's the one you're telling me not to look at. That's Wednesday.
We're looking at the exact same time, midday Wednesday. Oldest run, a little newer, newest. Clearly, we look for not only ensemble averages, but trends. The trend is that the ridge is weaker and farther to the east.
Which means that the atmospheric river.
Actually, this is interesting, too. Look up in western Alaska in the Aleutians. That ridging is building stronger up there to the northwest. So this is oldest run, little newer. That's what's going on. It's forcing that trough closer to us. Actually, that's pretty interesting. We'll be watching that closely as we head into winter. Yeah, so I'm just thinking models are having a little bit of an issue. This is the GFS. Okay, so this is the newest Euro. This was the 18Z GFS. It's slightly offshore. But clearly, if there's a trough getting that close, we're getting back into the rain stuff. And here's the Euro, the 18Z. Now that we have ensembles out to 6 days at the 18Z, that's nice. And I counted 30 of the 50 members have rain over us. And notice many of them are significant rain. So it looks like there may be
2-inch range.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look at the the pattern here.
Yeah.
That could be an atmospheric river sort of pattern. It sure is warm. Yeah. What'd you say in the 2-inch range? Yeah.
That's what I said. Yeah. 2-inch range atmospheric river.
Well, yeah. So ending midday Wednesday, 24-hour precip, the average of the ensembles are about 0.6 inch. Some of them are as high as 2 inches. This is the very wettest one. Some have nothing.
Just a couple.
But more and more. Yesterday, when I looked, the 12Z Euro yesterday, had 10 out of the 50 were wet.
16 of them say nothing.
Yeah, that's it. Out of 50. So we're thinking we're probably gonna moisten up that forecast for midweek. No more of this talk about 4 or 5 days of dry weather. That was ridiculous.
I'll remember that for tomorrow when I'm doing the forecast.
It's not such a big deal in November, but it's a big deal if we do that in May.
Oh,
we don't promise 5 days of dry weather. Well, we didn't promise, but we don't say, hey, maybe 5 days of dry weather in May and then have to pull it all away. I mean, that can lead to a rebellion. The same Euro, this is the morning Euro run, I think, because it goes out to 15 days now. It was only going out 10 days. So this is the green line is the average of the 850 millibar temperatures. 0 is 32 degrees, right? So, excuse me. So basically, anytime the line is at or below this red line, which I drew in, that's cold enough for snow in the passes. So, pretty chilly. We're in this cool air mass now. Cool air mass again from later Sunday all the way through Tuesday morning. But then look how warm it is because we got, even if it's not ridging, we still have troughing, relatively warm troughing over us. So what falls middle part of next week could be just rain in the mountains. There's a good chance if we get that rain that it's just going to be warm stuff. You see a lot of spread though here. This is like a week from Sunday, so this is the 24th. This is Sunday before Thanksgiving right here. A lot of spread. Interesting, there's less spread in the day or two before Thanksgiving. A little bit on the warm side. Notice the operational around their high-res control, same thing. Notice it does have a cold trough in here the early part of Thanksgiving week. So, actually, that's pretty chilly, -7. But, actually, that's at the very bottom. It was the coldest member. Yeah, it's below that. Thanksgiving. So big message here is as of now, we don't see anything too dramatic in the next 2 weeks we don't see an early cold spell. We can easily get that in the second half of November. I don't see that yet. I mean, there's not a single member down to -10 here, but we'll be watching closely.
Well, we'll look at on the 24th. Is that the 24th?
Yep.
Yeah. There's one at the very bottom.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Well, an old version of this on the weather company site way back when, like forever ago, like 10 years ago, they actually had each line plotted, which was kind of neat. You'd see how many lines were down there. There you go. So then we're going to go back. Okay, so this is what happens when you put things out of order, folks. So let's talk about the Friday the 13th storm and big lows. So, one thing we haven't had yet this season, we haven't had a big stormy pattern in that where we have deep lows coming up against the coastline. I can't even think of one that's been below 990 anywhere near the beaches. We had the one on Monday that gave us that wind along the coast. I think that was a 980 something, but it was way up in the northern end of Vancouver Island. So this is old style, Katie. Satellite picture. Now, somebody took a picture of this. They did look cleaner when you would look at them. It was on Difax paper, typically, where there were no computers looking at these. But if you look closely, see the big cinnamon bun swirl there, cinnamon roll. Look at that beautiful low right there. Here it is. Time here is 9:45 Z. So this would have been 1. Yeah. So 10 Z was 2 a.m. Yeah, 1:45 a.m. on the 14th of November. Here it is. A low was just west of Astoria. It was shooting northward along the coast. Look how close it is.
And that's after it made its trek up.
Well, the wind, usually the onset of the wind, a good forecasting rule is the onset of strong wind here in the valleys is about the time the low passes your latitude. So by this time, the strong wind had already arrived in Portland, but the storm was just getting going here in the metro area. I remember in Mount Angel looking out the window. I woke up maybe around 1 a.m. and all of a sudden it was calm when I went to bed, and 1 a.m. bang. Yeah. Okay, so that was the Friday the 13th storm. One of our 3 big storms. Look at the gusts here. So big picture, look at those gusts around 100 along the coastline there. 71 in Salem. Notice the Dalles. Dalles doesn't get strong. So I don't think I've ever heard of a strong southerly windstorm at the Dalles ever. Redmond, but still, notice east of the Cascades not as big of a deal, 52. Look at the metro speeds. So 71 at PDX.
85.
Yeah, I mean, you know how excited we get. If we do a first alert weather day, if we expect gusts of 50 here in the metro, we're going to do first alert weather day. Like, hey, there are going to be some down power lines. 60 is like, wow. If we get gusts to 60, that's unusual for us. But 70 to 85, that's a lot of damage. So this was one of what we call the big 3 storms. By the way, there's a great website. We've shown this before on our podcast. From Wolf Reed. He's Dr. Wolf Reed. He's up in BC now, but he used to live here in Northwest Oregon. And he has a Storm King website. See across the top, climate.washington.edu, Storm King index. Just Storm King. Nobody reads the last part. Oh, no, you see all my links there. Is there anything weird? No, okay. Did the snapshot. But look at this. Oh, this is the Weather Geeks. I have spent hours on this site. All these this amazing catalog of storms from the past.
There's all the way back Columbus Day storm.
Yep, the Great Gale of was it January 1880? Yeah, that was the one that may have exceeded the Columbus Day storm in some spots. The Storm King. That included heavy snow in parts of Northwest Oregon at low elevations after it went by. You don't see that around here anymore. Good stuff. So we just call these the big 3 storms, 950 to 960 millibars that got within what I call danger zone within 130 west. Oh, by the way, back up. This was 130 west right here.
Okay.
So when we get a deep low that close to us, if it goes out here, like here, not such a big deal. It needs to come right in like this. Okay. So the green was the 1981 storm. Notice it was slightly deeper than the Columbus Day storm in yellow, but the Columbus Day storm, look how it was just cozied right up against the coastline like that. And it moved very quickly. The speed is important too. If a low just sits out there at 960 millibars, if it just goes like this, you can see my cursor, right?
I can, yeah.
If a low just goes like this
and it just
and
kind of
sits there,
yeah,
it's windy, and actually it just stays windy, but there's nothing extreme. It has to move from south to north. And the rare one that moves like this isn't as damaging either. Those are really rare, though.
And when he says like this, for those that are listening, what do you mean?
Oh, we want a storm to move from southwest to northeast.
Instead of northwest to southeast.
Yeah, which is rare for a strong low anyway. I think I've seen 1 or 2 of those in my whole 30-year career. Straight west to east is okay, but you have to be just south of the low center for that to work out right. But we don't get 953 lows moving straight west to east. Those are going to be like 975 or 985 millibar lows. Third one was December 12th, 1995, and this was the last regional major windstorm. Yes, folks on the North Coast, I know the 2007 December 1st through 3rd windstorm was bigger for you, but that was a localized area. Portland didn't get damage from that storm. So these are the ones that affect everywhere from Northern California all the way up to like BC. So, okay. Now we go to the viewer photos. We got a few today, folks. So, Katie, you're on TV in a few minutes.
That's okay. I'm ready.
Okay, she's ready to go. So, Did I miss anything, Katie, either on the windstorms or the upcoming
No.
weather that I should have mentioned?
No, I rose through the presentation before we started. It was all the things I was thinking about that we should talk about.
Because I gave you access.
You did.
That was a big step. That was a big trust. The trust bridge is being built now. Although apparently I didn't give you editing access, so the trust wasn't
I couldn't
that
add
great.
anything, but I could look at it. Hey, it's
That's
baby
all you
steps.
get for now. I'm just kidding. I just forgot to check that. There. So we each winter we look for that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Last winter we hardly had that pattern. There was a year, about 3 years ago, where we had that pattern happen in October. We had those 942 or 945 millibar lows, which I'd never seen, relatively close. They came to about 130. If one of those would have swung northward within that danger zone, we could have a powerful windstorm here, and that could have been a contender for number 4. But that didn't happen. They weren't that close. Yeah. All right, Southeast Portland leaves. I live up at 1,000 feet. I've mentioned that before. 3/4 of the leaves are off the trees in my house. What about yours? Your neighborhood?
So yesterday, I got everything packed up. I was getting in the car to leave, and I pulled out, and I had to get out of my car and rake the leaves because they were blocking the storm drains. Like it was like I got up in the morning and I took my kids to school. There were no leaves on the ground, and then by the time I left, I had to rake. I mean, it was like piles of leaves.
Well, that's good. If everybody did that, we wouldn't have clogged gutters.
Oh, it was bad.
Getting the leaves out of your gutters.
I had to. I couldn't leave for work with all those leaves. It was.
It
was like jumping it if it was dry kind of pile. Like.
Wait, was that a dry day or what? It was a wet day, wasn't it?
Wet day.
Yeah, it's no fun. When it's dry, not such a big deal. I've never owned a leaf blower, and I finally own one this year. I got a battery-powered one. Plenty strong to blow even the wet leaves seem to come up okay. But I've experienced the pleasure of a leaf blower first time ever. I can't believe I made it to 55 with no leaf blower. Because in the country, if you have a long gravel driveway on a hill, at least I've always done this. I just run the mower up and down the driveway. I keep it up high so I don't hit that much gravel.
And it just kind of blows everything off.
It blows them off. That's a country way.
It's a leaf blower of some sort.
Yeah, but not a real one like city people now, so that's good.
Well,
it's not too noisy.
We have one, but it was not available to us, and so we used our shop vac, but then turned it backwards.
Oh, that's great.
So
that's smart.
Yeah, we got to go pick it back up. Someone's using it.
Thank you to Rod Mason for this picture. This was on the 12th, so just a couple days ago. And this one, we haven't had one from the John Day Valley. That's nice. Shannon Troyer, thank you very much.
I like the snow.
And so I think this is the Aldrich Mountains south of there. I don't think this is the Strawberry Mountains. I thought they're a little bigger, and I'm thinking this is west of John Day.
It's really pretty.
Either way, really pretty. Thank you very much. By the way, you submit them either through our app or you just go to kptv.com/weather, and right there it says submit photos, videos. And Carol Lundberg, this is a different one. A calm morning with some blue sky after a bunch of rain. Plenty of moisture. This says Pacific Northwest, does it not?
I love that. That's really pretty. I like that there's still flowers in bloom there in that picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just, for my wife, I clipped the last of the roses. They were getting beat up by the rain. The buds hadn't opened. So I'm like, maybe they'll open up if we bring them in. And sure enough, they did. They look much better inside. Like, summer's back. So good stuff.
Happy roses. That's a really pretty picture.
Yeah. So good stuff. There we go. We're back. We stopped sharing. So, okay, good podcast. Brief, folks. With only 2 of us, we get to the point a little quicker, maybe. We did just, what? We got to mention, Camilla brought in little baby Enzo.
I have pictures. Week. I should have given you my pictures to share.
I think she would allow that. She says that's fine, I think. So we can share pictures. So she's doing great. She's going to be gone through a little bit longer through the new year, but she'll be back. She's coming back. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Katie, thanks for doing this.
Yes.
So we put it all together. We slammed it together pretty quickly. A busy day. I'm going to go eat some dinner. You're going to go do a show, and we got to process this and get it all online. So thanks for joining us again, folks. We probably will not be joining you next week or on the week after. We know we won't do Thanksgiving week because we don't even cross paths correctly that week. So we hope you have a good Thanksgiving. If we were to get some big event next week, we might do a podcast. Like if Portland gets 7 inches of rain from an atmospheric river, then maybe that's worthy of a podcast. But if it stays kind of quiet like it has been, we won't see it till December. Was that dramatic?
Sounds like a plan.
I think it was. All right. See you later, folks.
So stop your waiting and hesitating and tell us